Well, hey everybody, I'm Jack, and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. Hope you're all doing well out there. I'm doing well, just getting things done here. Realizing I'm getting a little antsy. I would like to get out and do something a little bit fun. You know, as I tell you guys, I'm in a small town. It was fun getting out finally after finally feeling good and going down to Pensacola, not this past weekend, but the weekend before. So I'm gonna have to come up with a little adventure here before too long. Maybe we should get together this summer and do a jackfruit eating party or have a little getaway down around Pensacola or somewhere, but just think about it. Anyhow, today I want to talk about how to start a raw food diet, and we're going to be breaking it down from the ground up. Guys, I do videos every day, so if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please go down and hit that red subscribe button now. Then be sure you click on the little bell and check send notifications so you'll stay subscribed to the channel. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. You just start putting piece by piece together. Have a little patience in the beginning. That's what you need. That's what you need most of all. Just have a little patience. This is going to be a long-term thing. This is going to be a lifestyle. This isn't a diet. That's something you've got to distinguish and understand from the beginning. A diet is something people do for a short period of time to lose weight. It's generally not going to work. Well, now another use of the word diet just actually means what we are eating. So I'll distinguish there. But a lifestyle is something we're going to be doing for the rest of our lives. So it takes a little time to figure out. And the worst problem I see, I think the very, very worst problem I see out of anybody on this lifestyle that fails, that moves on or whatever, is they just want it now. We live in that society. I want it now. I want it immediately. I want to get rid of this now. I want to do this now. And they get frustrated with themselves when they're not perfect on this lifestyle, and all that frustration, I see people, it just tends to build up and they tend to go away. And usually when they go away, they make worse choices than before because somehow they're mad at the lifestyle. And they're mad at the, look, don't be mad at the lifestyle. People are living and thriving on this way of eating. And people are not living and thriving on this way of eating. There's a lot of bad examples out there. So, and hey, I'm not telling you, when I share this stuff, always, always, always remember, I'm not telling you this is the way. I'm telling you this is a way. This is kind of how I do it. I'm not, I mean, I can be arrogant in a lot of ways, but I'm not arrogant enough to think that my way of doing this is the only way. And I would caution you away from people that talk with too much assuredness about the raw food diet, the raw vegan lifestyle, because to be honest, there's not enough data out there. There's not enough history. There's not enough to look at and say, okay, this person's done this, this, this. To a lot of, you know, I know this will rankle a lot of the hardcore raw vegans, but it's still a guessing game. It's still a guessing game, and we're still, to a large extent, making a good bit of it up as we go. So don't, you know, have a little patience in the beginning. Don't get tripped up on this perfection thing. Think of it like you're going to build a house, or think of it how you're going to put a puzzle together or something. Just think of it as building, piece by piece, construction, and you're starting from the ground up. So if you're building a house, or if you're doing some sort of construction, what's the bottom? Is the base. Well, the base probably always has been for me, and for the banana haters, you might as well go watch another button now, because I'm big on bananas. But the bananas have always been the base. And when I say the base, that is the bulk of my calories, because that's another issue on this lifestyle. People tend to undereat. The food's not as calorically dense as the food that you're used to eating, and people tend to undereat. And bananas have the calories, and they're cheaper calories. So that for a number of reasons, bananas have been the base, the cornerstone of my lifestyle for these past almost 7 years now. I eat a lot of bananas. I go through periods, and it's funny how when you do a channel or when you have social media, it's like people take freeze frames of time. If I've done something one time, or if I've done it for a period of time, and people go away, well, they just assume I'm going to do that for the rest of my life. Now, I still have people, is that all you eat is bananas? I'm like, Jesus Christ, what are you watching? What are you watching? I mean, I've gone through periods where I've, eaten lots of bananas, and I've lived primarily on bananas, but for periods of time, and I haven't done that in a long time. I'm not eating the huge amounts of bananas per day, but even now, as I'm trying to get more variety and mix it up more, I still in a day, like most days, a light day for me, I'm gonna have 15 bananas. Yeah, I mean, I've already had a smoothie today. I'll have some nice cream. I probably won't have a 10 banana nice cream, but I'll have 15, 18 bananas a day. I've had 20 bananas. I've had 25 bananas before because bananas are cheap. In the tropics, I could get them for 10 cents a piece or less. I've kind of gotten into a rhythm where I can get them for that here. Good nutrition, I like them, so I have built my base on the bananas. Excuse me. Now, I had a lot of steps in between there, between starting to learn how to eat the fruit, build up to being able to eat an adequate amount of fruit, because don't overlook that. In the beginning, you know, you hear, and people see that. They hear us talking about these numbers of bananas, and you think, oh my God, this person is insane. Nobody eats that amount of fruit. It takes a while. You'll get used to it, and you'll like it. But yeah, so the bananas have always been the base for me. Now, yeah, I eat a lot of other fruit. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say I don't eat a lot of other fruit. Like now I'm back into getting regular mangoes. So most days I'll have 3 or 4 mangoes a day. Other fruits, you know, summer's coming, watermelon. I don't vary too much on my fruit here just because of the availability. I've been disappointed with the few pineapples I've got. I went through a bad spell on papaya, but you know, when I was in the tropics, I was eating all these fruits, so that was a 2 different things. So bananas is the base, as much of the other good fruit as I can get my hands on. And then a few years into it, and I always like to give Tenny Raw a little bit of credit on this one, or most of the credit. She always was talking about the green smoothies, and that I started putting 2 and 2 together, and it wasn't just totally seeing her videos, but it was also just kind of like getting the wheels going. And I started realizing what works for me, and what works for me is the base of the bananas, but then as many greens as I can get in. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, and I'll be fully transparent. In the States, I've really not been happy with my green consumption. It's a lot more expensive up here. I don't find as much of it. You guys, if you want to go back, like say around 2 years, say go all back through my videos between 2 and 3 years ago and watch my market hauls. You know, I'd go by a table and I had my choice. I could get a big huge head of red leaf lettuce for what, 50 cents. There was bunches of arugula, bunches of spinach, bunches of kale, all this beautiful greenery for good prices. I don't get it here. I largely eat salads with red leaf lettuce as much as possible. I have kale. I think I'm going to get back on the daily green boost again. That's one green barley juice powder that I've checked out the quality, and I really like the quality on that one. But the greens, I totally recommend, you know, like I say, the bananas. If I had, in a perfect world, I would have my bananas and I'd have a good stock of greens. If I had a good stock of greens, I want to get back to eating about 1.5 pounds of greens a day. But I think that's the evolution. The fruit, the greens, and then, like I say, another one that really just helped. I don't know. It just generally helped. It pulled it all together when I started putting, and I don't do it every time, but adding the seeds. I talked about that combination a few days ago, I believe, of the fruit, the greens, and the chia seeds. You got your omega-3s, you got your greens, you got your fruit. That's a good burst right there. So when I get that smoothie every day, I'm getting some good stuff in there. I usually have about 10 bananas. I got my kale, got a tablespoon of spirulina, and I'll put my chia seeds or my hemp seeds sometimes in there. So go with the fruit, the greens, build up. Hydration. That was another. That's taken me longer to really get, and what I'm getting at here is like the connection between how it works with everything. Like a lot of times you can be eating the same and your digestion will be just a little bit slower because you're not hydrated. So I've come over the years to kind of figure out this whole little, okay, well, how much I actually need to be hydrated properly for me. And depending on what times of the year, I've kind of gotten to where I'm not a big fan of water anymore. I hydrate mostly through my fruit and my juices when I'm getting my juices. Now, in another month or 6 weeks, I'll be good for 4 or 5 months because I'll have watermelon from then on out, and I had watermelon juice every morning. Last summer, I just went to a different level by hydrating every single day. So you start building these little steps. I'm not going to tell you I mean, you know, now you got to think, okay, what would work for you? But I start putting these things together little by little. And I start imagining how somebody that was beginning this lifestyle could put this together in a quicker way, little by little. And that's where I would say start. Start with that base. Start with that base of bananas. Eat more bananas than you think you need. Eat more bananas than you can. Just eat those bananas. When you start getting hungry, eat those bananas. Now, yes, that's not the only thing you can live on, and some of these little tricks might be silly that I propose for beginners, but you're trying to get used to the lifestyle. You might need to do things in the beginning you're not going to necessarily do all the way through. Get a variety. Never be hungry. These are all little parts, but just build piece by piece. And don't worry about being fully raw. Even if it takes you a while to transition over to being plant-based, I do encourage people to do that as quickly as possible, because, you know, that involves the suffering of animals and not great for the planet. But even there, it's more about getting there and staying there than, okay, let me get there as quick as I can. So do not beat yourself up along the way if you're not able to do all these things. If you see these other people doing it, well, they've been doing it for a while. I've been doing this for a while. Fuck, I mean, I don't want to live like that. I don't think it's healthy, but you could probably just lock me up out in the country somewhere and just throw bananas in my cage every day, and I'd be okay. I'd be okay. Well, you have to give me some hydration too. But learning to make food. Yep, I knew I had one left on there. That's what you start doing. You just start eating more fruit, adding you some greens in there, making you some salads, learning tricks, learning a new recipe here and there. And before you know it, you've just kind of, you don't have to make this huge effort. I'm going to be raw. You just start replacing what you used to eat and crowding it out with this food. I mean, I'm telling you, eat 15 bananas tomorrow. If you have not done fully raw, or if you've never done close to fully raw, please just wake up tomorrow, if you're not one of the banana haters, and eat 15 bananas. See how it changes your day. Eat it. Don't worry about anything else around there. Just make sure you eat 15 bananas. You will see that that would probably cut some of the other food that you're having, or the cravings you're having to the other food. It's about filling yourself up. It's about being satiated. It's about being satisfied. So anyhow, it's just piece by piece, and think of it like that. And maybe sometimes you even just have to work on one piece at a time. If that's what you have to work on being able to eat more bananas in a day. Work on being able to eat more fruit in a day. But it's easier to take these tasks in little pieces than to look at it like you just jumped in off of cliffs, just jumped into the void and like, okay, I'm going fully raw. Instead of just like, okay, here's my piece I'm working on this week. I'm going to work on getting up to eating 15 bananas, or I'm going to work up to eating 10 bananas. I don't know what size you are. So anyhow, just a few tips there. Hope you find that helpful. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you cats tomorrow. Peace.